Alright guys, so we are back with episode 2. Believe me, there's going to be a lot of walking around, a lot of being quiet.
But no swimming. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about.
And I haven't, so I have no idea what he's talking about. But I'm sure he's going to get into it. So, let's talk about the episode overall first, with no spoilers, no kind of details digging into it. And then we'll get into a little bit of that after this. So what did you think of the episode overall?
I thought it was pretty good. I think it started off quite a bit slow, but it definitely ends with a bang.
Okay, I see what you did there. Yeah, I agree. I think this episode really was more or less world building. It shows you a lot of everything outside of the wall. It shows you more of like buildings being decrepit, falling apart. Obviously, they bombed a lot of things. So things are blown up. There's big holes in, the ground and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, even cafes with wine glasses still full.
I mean, as long as they're not Starbucks cups sitting in frame, I'm okay with glasses of water hanging out.
The show's not over yet.
Yeah, I guess that is true. All right, so now, since we talked just a little bit, about the episode and how we liked it, now we're going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the episode and get into spoilers. So if you haven't watched the episode, definitely stop now, go watch the episode, and then start right back at this point of the video. But we're going to get into the first kind of opening scene of this episode, Jakarta, and, what did you think of that episode? Is it part of the game? Is it even in the game at all?
Well, they kind of kept the idea of the game intact. The location is different. In the game, it's South America, but the infection does come from crops. So in the show, they tell you that it's the flower.
Which, yeah, that is. I think there's a little hint where like they survived the first night because they were gonna have waffles or pancakes or something like that, and they actually didn't eat them.
Yeah,
that was like a big thing floating around.
And also, Joel says that he's on the Atkins diet, so it kind of tells you he's not eating
that
carbs.
Makes sense. Just little things, little details.
Yeah. I
like the kind of addition, I guess, of this, since it's not really totally into the game. It was cool to kind of see, like, this is where it started. This is, like, kind of patient zero, since they already said that other people have been bitten and they're running around and they don't know where they're at. But I enjoyed it because it was kind of a cool little nugget where, you can see the infection. Even when they're interviewing her, she literally, there's no vaccines, there's no cure. Bomb the shit out of this city, everybody in it.
They do a really good job at instilling some terror into the audience, I think.
Yeah,
because you can see it in her eyes and she starts shaking.
And even right after that, she's just like, can I just go home? Like, I just want to be with my family because I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I know the terror and the shit that's about to go down. I just want to hang out with my family for the last time that I have left.
Yeah, because chances are she knows she's been infected.
Yeah, probably. She's with the body and even cut open the leg where the little spore and stuff was. And she had it in her hand, so... Oh, yeah, because she ripped the hose out of her back or whatever when she ran out, too.
Yeah.
So...
Well, plus it's getting into the wheat factory or the flour factory, too.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, she's probably dead either way.
Yeah.
She did not survive.
So, after the flashback, we're brought back to present time, where we have Ellie, Joel, and Tess trying to make their way to the capital. Ellie wakes up to find out that Joel and Tess are sitting there pointing a gun at her. They're still afraid that she might turn at any moment. So there's a whole scene where she goes to the restroom and then she comes back out and they start eating some lunch. And it's kind of funny because Ellie is eating a sandwich with bread made from flour. And we now know that flour is how the infection transmitted. So it's kind of a symbolism to show that she's even more immune to it.
Yeah, she does not care whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, she's already been bit, and it's already healing, so who cares?
Yeah, and I would say in the game, Joel is not quite as suspicious about Ellie. You just kind of move forward in the game, and there's a point in the game where you're sitting in spores, and Ellie doesn't have a gas mask on, and he's asking, how are you breathing this right now? And she's like, I told you I'm immune.
Because they have to build Pedro Pascal's, like, they got to show you his facial expressions. They paid him a lot of money. They have to get that money out of him somehow.
Yeah, we missed the face in Mando, so.
That is true. You only see it for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But either way. So, oh man, I'm just thinking about him showing his face to Grogu at the end. That just makes me... Damn it. That just makes me sad. Either way, okay, let's get back to this. So they're choosing if they want to go a long way or short way. Obviously, we all know, we've played a lot of video games, the long way is probably easier because there's less villains to get attacked by. There's less clickers is what they call them. But they have to get up to a vantage point. They go through like a little hotel lobby where there's a bunch of water in there.
Yeah, and this part's kind of funny. If you've played the game, you know... Ellie comes up to the steps and she's like freaked out because she can't swim. And you know, in the game, you spend a lot of time grabbing rafts for Ellie to boat her across little areas. So,
yeah, that'd be. I mean, it sounds annoying, but you know, I guess I got to play the video game. But either way, we get through the little vantage point. We start to go up. Tess kind of crawls around and tries to open up a side door so they can get a vantage point of this long way to get through, and it's a nice little kind of like Joel and Ellie are sitting there talking, and you can see it's them trying to slowly build their relationship and maybe get a little bit more comfortable. But you get up into that little area and they're looking over, and it looks amazing. You can see the landscape, you can see, you know, all of the government buildings and stuff like that. It looks great, but you see a huge horde of infected just hanging out, doing, you know, well, maybe watching Netflix or something, I don't know. But they're all just hanging out there, just chilling. And so they're like, all right, no, we have to go the short way. So they choose the short way. And I feel like we all know the short way is always the shitty way.
Yeah. Yeah, so they start walking to the short way, which is the museum, we find out. And the thing I thought was real weird about this scene is Ellie brings up that there is rumors of a infected that can hear like a bat and they use sonar. And Joel and Tess are just quiet. And to me, that makes no sense. Like, if you're about to walk into this dangerous environment, I don't know why you wouldn't tell Ellie how to react.
I do like the suspense that was built.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, she says it, and, like, even me, I'm like, okay, something has to be coming where... Because they both look at each other and they're like, yeah, that happens. Like, that's gonna happen, and I get it. You would want to tell somebody that's gonna be right next to you that's gonna make a noise because she has no idea. So that makes sense. But I do like the aspect where they're just looking at each other like, oh shit, yeah. Because I mean, they didn't forget about that. They've killed a bunch of these things, so they know.
Yeah, I don't know if they were hoping they wouldn't run into him or... So logically, it would make more sense to tell Ellie about the clickers that they're about to run into, but it does a really great job of building some of the suspense, and then the next scene that we walk into as we get to the museum builds it even more.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool for me because you get these little tidbits going through the entire episode with, you just feel like there's something big and ominous that's going to happen, that they're going to run into... But you don't really know exactly what, and I think the reason they didn't say anything about the clickers is because, honestly, I feel like they did it for the audience. They wanted to build that suspense for the audience, because if you played the video game, you know what a clicker is, you know kind of how insane and scary they are, but if you've never seen it whatsoever, you're going into it, and then you see a clicker for the first time with, like, the huge, you know, big spores or whatever on its face, which the makeup effects were beautiful in this. Like, it looked great. You could see, like, almost the fungus, like, building off of his arms and stuff. Like, it looks awesome. But you get into that scenario, and like he even said, you know, he right then and there when the clicker's walking around, then he's just like, you know, hey, shut up. Like, you have to be quiet. He said, you know, they can't see you, but they can hear you. Which, if I was in that situation, I'd be like, why would you not tell me this 20 minutes ago before we're about to get annihilated? Because you see the body, and even Ellie's like, why is this all mauled up? Like, what happened to this dude? I don't think that's what regular people do, or regular infected stalkers do. Yeah. So, like, that would be my idea, but I think they're just building it for the suspense of the audience that hasn't really seen or doesn't know anything with The Last of Us.
Yeah, and this is also the part where we learn that the spores communicate through the tendrils through the ground.
Yes.
So
I thought that, yeah.
It's a... I guess in the game they don't specifically tell you that.
Yeah.
But
I did see that was a new addition that they brought into, because I guess they did more research, and they saw that in like forests and Amazon and stuff like that, if there's a spore and stuff like that that gets stepped on or demolished or whatever, it sends a signal to the other fungi and all that way further away to kind of come help aid and make sure that it doesn't get damaged too much. So I thought that was cool, and you kind of see that further on in this episode. So then you get into this whole scenario with the clickers, and they can't see you, but they can hear you, and it just gets really intense really fast. I thought it was really cool where, obviously he tells Ellie to, be quiet because they can hear and not see. And then you get those random, especially too, I absolutely love this scene where he runs out of bullets and he's sitting there with his flashlight hanging on his shoulder, and he's slowly trying to pop a bullet in little by little. And then you can just, you don't see it, which is beautiful, yeah. But that clicker's like slowly walking down, and then the camera just pans over and he's like right there, and he has to stay quiet, like no matter what. But that scene right there was perfection to me.
Yeah, and I loved that when he turned to look at the clicker, the light went on its face.
Yeah, we didn't notice it.
You can't see anything.
Yeah.
But it really showed us like the detail that went into the costume design and everything is really good.
And me not playing the video game, I didn't put two and two together immediately with the flashlight. So when he has a flashlight hanging here and it's like flashing in and out of the hallway, yeah. I'm like, stop. He's gonna, and I literally had to think about it, and I was like, I don't know, you can't see it. Yeah, it's whatever. And the cool thing about that too is the people that they hired to kind of play the clickers, they played a lot of the video game, they studied their movements, so that it just shows you the detail they put into the show. And if they're actually having people that study the movements of how they're moving and how like they're kind of twitching over and here and there, it's just the detail, really. That's what's awesome about the show. Yeah,
and a lot of the set pieces in the show were taken straight from the game. The whole scene is the same in the game. The room,
Yeah, I think honestly this segment or this piece of the episode was, I think, by far like that's what they wanted you to focus on. Everything else was like world building and slow pacing and stuff like that, but this right here was like intense. They wanted you to see these clickers are bad news. They're going to kill you. They're going to tear you apart if you let them.
Yeah, I will say I was really expecting Joel to kill a clicker with Ellie's knife, just because that's how you assassinate them in the game. I was really expecting that, but
they do foreshadow where he's like, that's cool.
So yeah, so maybe we'll see it.
Yeah, I'm sure we will, especially if it's in the game. I feel like they have to.
Yeah.
So with all that excitement, they kill the two clickers. They get out of there and they get to the Capitol building where they're supposed to meet all of these other people that are well armed. They're going to help them get Ellie out of the city, and it doesn't really end up that well.
Yeah, they end up coming up on the truck and finding out that it is empty and quiet.
Yeah.
Nobody's walking around. And they have this scene where it's really suspenseful, where Joel is looking in the truck and then he circles around it and he opens up the back. Honestly, I was expecting some stalkers to pop out.
Yeah, he opened up the door and I literally was just like, all right, cool. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's go do something else then.
Which, I guess that's good. They're throwing what you expect off, so...
Yeah, that is true.
That's a positive thing, I think.
Yeah, but then I think this is the part where he kind of sees the blood trail going up to the steps into the Capitol, right?
Yeah, Ellie and Tess run up, and Ellie notices that there's blood trail going up into the Capitol.
So then they kind of burst into the Capitol, and they see just everybody's dead, basically. And it was a nice, cool thing where you don't actually see it happen, but Joel kind of says, okay, well, yeah, one of them got infected. They fought each other. And, that just seems simple enough, but, that's probably what would happen. Somebody ate a piece of bread, or somebody sucked in part of, something in, and that infected them, and boom, there you go. That's just going to start something catastrophic.
Yeah, or got bit.
Yeah, like walking into the building.
So this scene plays out pretty much word for word of the game. with Tess frantically trying to find a map or something to help them move on. And this is the point where they kind of freeze for a second, and Ellie realizes that Tess is infected.
Yeah. And you can kind of tell, too, where earlier scene where she's trying to rush Joel and Ellie on. She wants to get them. She's really, after she gets bit at the museum, she really is just like, all right, let's go. We need to get to where we're going, because she just knows she doesn't have enough time.
Yeah, and if you remember from, I think it was the first episode where they showed that chart about if you're bit on the neck and up, it's like 5 to 15 minutes. And
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, there's a chart on the wall that they showed.
Oh, okay.
In the game, it takes about 2 days to turn, but in the show, it's really accelerated.
Gotcha.
So she was really trying to push them along to get to the Capitol building before she flipped.
So then obviously Joel says, show me. She shows him the bite, and he kind of just thinks, well, damn, like that sucks. And I've kind of noticed with him, he's not really sentimental, even though he is, but he doesn't show it because this world is he has to make you tough, and you got to be quick with what you want to do. So one of the people kind of wake up, or one of the infected that are down on the ground wake up, and he shoots him, and then that kind of breaks one of the spores that are with them. That sends a signal to that huge herd from the long way, and then they all just start bum rushing to this area, because obviously it sent out a signal to where they're at, which I think is awesome. I think it's an awesome thing to add, because you never know, you might just randomly step on a spore and then boom, they know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, in the game, they're everywhere in the game.
Yeah.
So you never really had a reason for that to be in the game, I guess.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
So it kind of works out better in the show for that reason.
So obviously she's infected, she's gonna die. All of these infected are running at them. So Joel and Ellie, after like a huge heated fight between Tess and Joel about, that Ellie's the real deal. Ellie's going to make a cure if you get her to these people. So her and Joel end up dipping out, and she's sitting there thinking, like, okay, I have all this gas and all these grenades, which I would have just thought I grabbed a grenade with the gas, and I feel like that would have been better. But she wants to build suspense. She, throws the gas around, takes the lighter, and she's trying to light it with all the infected running in. And this is one thing that I guess threw me off, or I didn't think it made sense, because she's already infected. So an infected runs by her, stops, and starts to stare at her. In my mind, I'm thinking he's going to look at her, she's infected, he's going to just, boom, sprint past, try and go get Joel or Ellie, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like, oh, she's one of us, I can sense it kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Poors talk to, like, all of them talk to each other from miles away. Yeah. It would sense that she's already infected, but no, you get a weird fungus makeout kiss where she's like her eyes are getting dilated and she's starting to get taken over quicker, and she's got the little lighter in her hand. Again, grenade, boom, you're good, because all you gotta do is drop it.
Yeah.
But she's lighting it, and obviously it's gotta build suspense for the show. I get it. So she lights it, you get back to Joel and Ellie, and then boom, huge explosion, and it's cool. You see all the infected running out, and they're just on fire, kind of falling over because they're dying.
So at the end of the episode, we know that Tess stays back and blows everything up to kill all those infected that were rushing them. In the game, however, there's no infected horde coming at them. It's actually Fedra that shows up to kill the Firefly team. And so Tess stays back and pushes them forward. Everything's the same. She got infected, so she's going to stay back and make one last stand. And then you just run off, and you can kind of hear them fighting a bit, and then Tess gets shot. You don't see it in the game. And then you circle around, you come back up to the balcony in the Capitol building, and you can see her body laying there, and Fedra is getting everywhere. Mm. And you actually end up fighting Fedra anyways in the game, which is kind of sad. I guess she was going to turn.
Yeah, she's dead regardless, so
but, yeah,
maybe she took out one or two of them.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I think the show, at least in my personal opinion, I like the show how they did it better, just because it gives you more of an ominous tone of these infected are a huge deal, and the hordes running around are a big, huge deal. Like they're going to attack, they're going to kill you when you're out there, and it really kind of puts more emphasis on Ellie and how important she is, because like if you don't have a cure, you can't stop this huge horde from attacking anybody or killing everybody. But if you find a cure with Ellie, you can help, I guess slowly, I don't really know how they do it, logistics, but you can slowly stop people from turning or maybe turn them back because of what happened to them. So it really makes that story a little bit stronger, I guess, with Ellie and how important she is. But either way, that was episode 2. Let us know down in the comment section below, what did you guys think of the episode? What do you guys think so far of just the overall series? What do you guys think of this video, where we kind of talk about how we liked it and then kind of go a little bit in depth, go about, what's the difference between the game, the show, what we like different, what we like more about what's in the show. Either way.
Or did we miss anything?
Yeah, that is true. We could literally have glossed over something where you're sitting there watching this video like, you idiots, you missed this, this, and this. So let us know down below. And anyways, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, do all that fun stuff, and then we will see you next week in episode 3. Ready to do the thumbs up?
Yeah.
All right, ready? Bam. We'll see you guys later. God. You just had to one-up yours.
I gotta give all the thumbs ups. Do you enjoy watching Pedro Pascal walk?
I mean, who doesn't love staring at that butt?
Good point.
Let's get into this episy. There you go. Perfect.
Beautiful. High five. We did it together.
God. There's got a lot of bloopers. High five. What did you think of this episode?
It was pretty good. Let's start over. I wanted to interject, but then you came at me like that.
You came at me like that?